Hello, it is part 2 of my sewing review of the year, and this episode is my top fails and top choices of patterns from 2024. I think it's always important to keep the balance. Not everything goes well, and just to share the things that perhaps haven't gone the way that we wanted to, I think is really important. But then the highlight of this episode will be the patterns that I have gone back to again and again, and I think we'll be taking into 2025. So let's start with I'm going to move this way a bit, with things that didn't turn out the way I hoped they would. So this is a really interesting one because it's one of my top patterns, which we'll talk about, but I decided to make a Tammy Handmade Naya and extend it down into a t-shirt dress length, having done this previously with other fabrics. And I had this lovely joyful leopard print jersey, and it had like oranges and greens in it, so it felt really summery. And I thought I'd do like a nice orange collar, like the jersey collar, and orange cuffing. And I did it, put it on, and there is no other words from it than it looks like a hospital gown. And I tried to then cut it down into a closet core travertine, which is sort of a racer back t-shirt. And I thought I would do the t-shirt dress because I'd made a travertine t-shirt dress, and it still didn't look right. And I think this is something that I learned a lot in 2023 and mostly did okay in 2024, which is just because I love a fabric doesn't mean I'm going to enjoy wearing it, and also doesn't mean the fabric will translate into the design. I think the pattern was too small for a full scale outfit. I think maybe just a t-shirt, like a racer back top, but also because of the type of jersey it was, when it stretched it really pulled out the shape of the leopard print as well. So yes, that was the one that I tried to fix several times and just had to accept it was just not for me. There have been failures in the trouser area, and I have mentioned already the Aaronites, which I'll put here one last time and then we shall never speak of them again. Yes, it was a toile. I know that in a draper fabric it might work, and I might go back and try that. But I do think the other issue for me is the pocket placement is right at my widest part, and I think that that doesn't help me either. Now, if you are a long-running viewer, you will know I do not like the word flattering. It's not just me that doesn't like it. It is too much about external gaze. Flattering says I am dressing for the approval of others, particularly if we think in a patriarchal, misogynistic manner. I can talk about this more another time if you'd like. Do leave a comment. But I wouldn't say they weren't flattering on me, but they didn't make me feel good when I put them on, and that's what matters to me in clothes. I'm not looking to minimize, make parts of my body smaller, because that's saying that my body isn't right as it is. And my body is my body, and it is what it is, and it's serving me brilliantly and getting me through life and carrying me through my wonderful journey. So it just didn't make they just didn't make me feel good, and so that's a reason to not pursue that. I do think maybe one time I will come back and try them in a more drapey fabric, but right now I found other trouser patterns I like that make me feel good, so it's okay that they're not for me right now. Construction wise, super interesting. I love the clear instructions, love the construction of the pockets and the details, just not for me right now. When I originally put the Arthur pants on, which I'll put here, which were also by Sew Liberated, I was unsure, but actually when I dressed them up with my other summery clothes for my holiday, just what I wanted actually. They did originally feel a bit clown trousery, but actually the weather we had, who knew I'd get the summer weather in here, but I did. The weather we had in the UK for 2024 in the summer, there was a lot of rain, and actually we needed layers, and so a bright pair of orange trousers with a sandal wasn't something that featured highly in my being able to wear list, but actually taking them to roads, wearing them with a top, wearing them in that lovely warm environment, they were spot on. The one change I would make is just to bring the crotch level up. They're meant to be like a low one, but for me it meant bits of my thighs were touching when it was sweaty, to need to lift that up a bit to suit me. And that's again, it's what works for different people. Other thing that took me a while, and I'm still not sure it's a pattern for me, is the closet core travertine. I've made top versions, I made a dress version, and then I made another one which was in this gorgeous crafty pie fabric, a green floral sort of vintage looking. And then when I put the ribbing on for the sleeve and the neck, it went all wavy, and I'd made it multiple times, made things like that, and racer back tops before, and it was just one of those patterns where I'm like, maybe this is just not for me. I have to say, the Largo tank, love that one. I think that one is for me. And it's all those little things about like shoulder width, bust ratio to shoulder, high bust, low bust, all those different things. So that's why it's great that there's so many different patterns of a similar type, because they're all drafted for slightly different bodies, and so that's finding the right one for you. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with my body or anything wrong with my sewing, it just wasn't right for me. And interestingly, and this is not a critique of closet core, because my next pattern that didn't go well was closet core Pietra. I'd seen a lot of people make them and love them. First time I made them, despite reading, and I love closet cores, really comprehensive measurements, finished measurement details, they weren't fitting in lots of places. Like the rise was too low, the waist was too high, the legs were too wide, and I realised I think what I need to do is size down, but then do a full bottom adjustment, full seat adjustment. And we live and learn. So that is a pattern I've had it reprinted, I'm going to remake it, but it was like, I felt so disappointed at the time because I'd seen so many lovely pairs and I had such high hopes, and I have sewn so many closet core patterns that are my top patterns as well, so it is certainly not closet core. I think it was just drafted for a taller body, and so getting all the sizing down for my body, because I'm 5'2", with a round bottom, I think getting it right for that body was just a bit more challenging. I love, again, the pocket construction is really interesting. I love the whole idea of it, but it's definitely one I will go back to and will try again. So I would say they are the ones that made me go, this year. There's been other things I've made that I then haven't loved as much as perhaps I thought I would, but they're my top ones that sort of stick in my mind. So let's get on to the really great stuff, which is the top patterns. Now, this first one has been a top pattern, was a top pattern of 2023 as well, and it is the Seasons of East Summer in New York. It is a perfect pattern for me in terms of being able to sew with all the jersey fabrics that I love. It was designed, can I say, for woven, and I have made several wovens, but also made and tried out making it in jersey, and it works. I find I just need to be a little bit more generous with my seams, but it really depends on the drape, thickness, weight of the jersey fabric. And this year I bought one of the lovely Nerida Hansen floral jerseys that came out in the summer, and I was umming and ahhing and agonising over what to make, and then my other half said, if you like that pattern, just make it again. And sometimes I feel like with that pressure to like keep trying new patterns, and I'd already made it like 5 times. I think there is a whole separate video on it which you can go and watch if you want more details on it. But I made it again. I shortened the sleeve because it was more summery, and I'm so glad I did. I have no regrets about making that pattern again, and I've worn that dress so many times, and I can tell you now I will make that pattern again. There are other Seasons of East items. I've made the trousers, I know there's a t-shirt and things, but I tell you what, this is the one pattern of their collection that is one of my absolute favourite patterns of all time. I have made it in fabric that makes it look dressed up, made it in fabric that makes it just look everyday, sort of like go to the office. I've made it in jersey so that it looks quite more sort of like summer casual. It makes me feel good when I wear it. I did raise up the shoulders to bring up the waist to the right place on me. And I'm now, and I'll take you on this in 2024, I'm now really working out how to turn the top part into a really nice top, because you've got to think about it, it's a very high waisted dress, so you've got a lot of like when the skirt attaches, it keeps it down. Without it, you've got a lot of issues when you raise your arm up. I have used the dress and attached a different top, like the skirt part, and attached a different top before. That works well. I like the way the skirt part is constructed with box pleats at the front, darts at the back. It is one of those patterns that you can pick up and sew now. I don't need any instructions for it. I probably do it in my own order. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. The front piece, I've adjusted the V to be a bit higher for me. One big back piece and a skirt front and back. It is absolutely a win every time with me. The next one is the Romy lantern sleeve. Now this is a free pattern. It's from Tiana's Closet. It was the first time I sewed a lantern sleeve. So a lantern sleeve, you have the main sleeve part, and then you have this inverted sort of arch, like a rainbow. Think of a rainbow that brings it down into shape. I have since seen that you can do this on a trouser. I have played with the lantern and made it smaller. I've made it in double gauze, drapey viscose. I've put the sleeve onto a different pattern. It is a really nice, for a free pattern, it is just, again, mwah, because I made it the first time during, I think it was Sew April blouse or Sew long sleeve. I think it was, or Sew frugal. I don't know. This year, at some point, there was a challenge where I could use the Romy lantern sleeve because it was a free pattern. That's whatever it was, that was the reason. And I made two. One was a Nerida Hanson fabric that I'd bought as a remnant the year before, and I'd been waiting for the perfect moment. And because it's just one piece of the top, one piece of the back, and then the sleeves, it really allowed the fabric to shine, and it was perfect then to wear with plain trousers. I then made it in a lovely, another remnant that I've had. I've since, as I say, made it in a double gauze. It works really well. I have made it with the scalp tee as the bodice and then put the lantern sleeve on. It is a pattern that I will make over and over again, because when you want a top that really allows the fabric to sing, because sometimes we want the pattern to do the work, not the fabric, but when we want the fabric to have its moment to sing and not have anything sort of distracting from it because it's a gorgeous design, the lantern sleeve is perfect, because with a viscose as well, the way it drapes is so different from with a different shape where it holds the lantern shape a bit more. So it is one of those patterns that really can look so different depending on the type of fabric, and it was a great introduction to using a sleeve type I'd never used before as well, and being free, and the instructions were really clear. And I have a video with more details which I'll put here as well. That is top of the year. I'm just going to tick off what I've mentioned. So we can't not finish 2024 without commenting on Quilted Jackets. Now there is a whole video which I'm sure you've seen and I'm sure you're sick of me mentioning, but there is a whole one about Quilted Jackets. But the thing was, once I'd sewed those, I didn't stop. I found the patterns I liked, and that was the point of that episode, was to explore what patterns I liked. And since then I have used the Hovea jacket pattern, Megan Nielsen Hovea jacket, to make a waffle fabric, a blue waffle fabric like throw over, and it worked perfectly for that. So picture coming in here. And I've made lots of variations of the Hovea, and every time I've done it, whether I've done it with a pre-quilted fabric, quilted the fabric myself, made the crop medium or longer length with the different pockets. It is again a pattern I will go back to because you can use lots of different fabrics to make it really look so different, and the variation of choices in the pattern as well, from the tie front to the having the collar down the front to the different pockets. It is a pattern that you can get a lot of bang for your buck for. And as I say, I then thought I'm going to give it a go and just make it in a waffle knit fabric, and it worked really well for that as well. So you can go from having it as like a really warm snuggly coat or jacket through to a very light throw on, all using the same pattern, which I think is a really good value pattern. While we're on the quilted jacket train, let's talk about my other favourite, which was the Sewing Bee quilted one. Now I will put the link below. This pattern is free. Obviously you don't get the instructions unless you buy that year's Sewing Bee book. It was the year that Crafty Pie Brogan was there and she made a gorgeous one. But I'll put pictures in here. I peaked with my pink tiger one with the black and white stripe. Love that jacket, but it's not going to be the end. I also made a sleeveless one and that was great as well. So it's a great jacket bodice block. I'm thinking of using it to just make a Ponte jacket. So it's like, let's see now whether I can keep using that pattern for other things. And it is worth being aware that it is drafted for a sort of bracelet length crop sleeve, sort of here. I have a short arm, so it came a bit further down, but I still wanted to extend it. I am not a person who likes things coming up here. I like a full length. I have sewn it in a pre-quilted bit of like a bed throw that was from Marks and Spencer's that I bought second hand. I have made it, as I say, in fabric that I quilted myself with a lining, and I used flannel, brushed cotton flannel sheeting for the middle part. Thank you to Antonia for that suggestion. So it is definitely a pattern that you could play with in terms of lengthening the sleeve, trying it out with different fabrics as well. So moving on from the quilted jackets, I can't promise I won't ever mention them again. We need to talk about the Tammy Handmade Naya. That is a pattern I think that came out over a year ago now, and it's just continued to be a very popular pattern. Now, it is a paid-for pattern, and that's cool because some of mine are, some of them are not. But if you were looking for one t-shirt pattern that would carry you through such a wide variety, this is the pattern I would choose. You have the option to do a sleeve cuff or not. It works brilliantly to extend down into a dress. Now obviously I extend down, curve slightly out for the hips and then in a little bit because I don't want it overly fitted, but it works brilliantly in like a knit fabric. The top is designed for jersey fabric, but I have sewn it in woven. I've sewn it in a washed linen. I've sewn it in a double gauze. I've done it in just a sort of a cotton woven. That one I should have sized up. The rest of them I've sewn all the same size. I've recently done it in a velvet sequin fabric, and that worked well as well. So it is a pattern that when Tammy designed it, it was originally for jersey. It is not limited to jersey. For me, because I can get it over my head and it doesn't need to stretch, I've been able to do it in lots of different ones. So I would say make it in jersey first and then see whether some people might need to size up for a woven. Only one size I would say, but to see what size you choose, and then you could always size up a couple of sizes depending on how fitted you want the jersey version. I like it sort of a bit boxy. I've sewn it up using remnants because if you sew up the actual t-shirt you don't need a lot of fabric because it's a front and back piece on the fold, which you could cut and join back together if you on the back if you were short of fabric. As I say, you can put the cuff on or not. I've even shortened the sleeve a bit on one of my variations. So I would say I am probably close, if not there, to sewing 10 of these now in different iterations. I've definitely done 2 double gauze. As I say, I've done a linen. I've done couple of jersey ones, then I've done at least 3 dress versions. I've done the sequin one. I'm planning on doing a velvet one, so it's a winner that one. In terms of if you took a price of a a pattern and divide it by how many times you've sewn it, I'm pretty low down. I'm definitely down to less than £1 per sew, because I also bought it when Tammy had an offer on. Now, if you sign up to Tammy's newsletter, she often cycles through giving one of her patterns like a discount. So watch out. And I've also, on the Makerist website, I bought some of her patterns. I think I might have even bought it then for $1.99 or $2. I can't remember, but if I bought it for $2, I'm at like, even if we turn that to pounds, I'm at like 20p a pattern now or something crazy. And if I did buy it for like £5, because sometimes she does like her patterns for £5, I'm still down to like 50p or something per pattern per sew, which is amazing. And then we need to think about trousers. So I've talked a lot about trousers this year. There's whole separate episodes which I have mentioned. If I was made to pick one pattern, say it with me, it would be the Sew Liberated Chanterelle. Somebody asked me why this pattern. I do like the Closet Core sepia pants, but you can only get them if you are a Closet Core member. So and they are a bit more of an involved sew, which if you want like a quick sort of joyful summer sew, then the Chanterelle, it has got good details without being too involved. It has darts at the leg cuff at the bottom, which I like. It has a lovely curved pocket. It has an option for a wide or a tapered leg. It's got nice comfort in terms of summer, good instructions. It sits on my waist where I want a trouser to sit, and I just feel that anybody could sew that. And I would say, even if you are a beginner, this is a great trouser pattern to get you started, because Sew Liberated instructions are very good as well. Somebody asked me, because I do like the bob pants, but they sit much higher. They can really look very, very different in different fabrics, to the point where you're like, whoa, do I like that barrel leg? They need a pocket that I found needed adjusting to like trap it into the waistband. So if you're a more advanced sewist, you can really make the bob pant work for you. But as an out of the packet pattern, I think the Chanterelle, and I love the sewn on curved pocket on the front, because it allows you to either use a different colour, or to play with the direction of the pattern, or to just let it completely blend in. So that is my pattern. And then we need to talk about one of my most sewn dresses of the year alongside the Seasons of East, which is the My Handmade Wardrobe Cosy Everyday Jersey Dress. I think I've got the name right, but I will link all these patterns below. I originally made this for Sarah, who owns and runs My Handmade Wardrobe, for a catwalk show for her. It's back in like February. I made a toile out of Ponte to see what I liked and etc. And then I decided to make one in one of the Minerva exclusive velvets. It's like it's sort of almost scuba backed. It's white on the back. And when I wore it for Sarah, people were coming to her store and saying, where's the velvet one? What pattern is that? And she was having to say, it's this pattern, because she designed it to be an everyday cozy jersey dress. And whilst it can be that, and I love it for that, the pattern is so versatile that you can take it right from like an amazing going out dress right through to a snuggly on the sofa with a pair of leggings dress. Christine of Gemini Stitches has just recently sewn her Christmas Day dress with this pattern. You have the option for ties, which is a nice thing if you want it to like cinch it in, or to create like a waist definition. You've got the option of these lovely big patch pockets on the side. You've got these panels, which mean you can really play with colour blocking. So when I made the velvet one, I went for it all in one fabric. I made a Ponte one with this amazing firework fabric and then black panels. I made a jersey longer length one in a gorgeous little leg space fabric. And I feel that it is a pattern I will certainly be returning to. Again, it worked in a wide range of different types of stretch fabric. You've got a lovely neck facing, which you don't often get on jersey. As I say, you've got this option of a waist tie, super clear instructions, different sleeves, but these unusual panels really take it to a place that a lot of jersey dresses don't go. And Sarah's design of how these panels work, and you get them out and you look at them and you think, how does that go together? But it's brilliantly done. So that is definitely, again, another pattern where you get absolute bang for your buck. If you notice, with most of my patterns that are my top patterns, I've gone back and sewn them over and over again, and it means that I feel that I can get real value for money out of the pattern. And I really like that, because I want to be able to play with patterns, I want to be able to change the length, make a top version, all sorts of different things, and these patterns all give me that something extra about them. So then I would be remiss not to have a t-shirt on my top patterns of the year. I find it very difficult to narrow it down. There is a whole t-shirt episode to help you decide, but I think, I know I've mentioned the Tammy Handmade Naya already, but if I was going for like a long sleeve top, I would go, having tried a lot, I would go for the Closet Core t-shirt. It is free. Be aware that it is meant to be, again, a crop sleeve, so I lengthen it, but as a basic t-shirt pattern that you can make in short sleeve, long sleeve, with a bit of variation, it's well drafted, good instructions, that is free, that is the one I would choose, because it's perfect for when you need to throw something on underneath, you need those layers, or you just want a nice basic tee. It is a great pattern. So that would be my top choice of that. So there we go. I would love you to tell me what your top pattern has been of 2024. Was it a particular pattern company or a particular pattern? Do leave a comment and let us know, because I know that people love to read each other's comments, and it's a great opportunity to find other patterns and other pattern companies as well. While I'm here, I will just mention that I took out for 2023 the Closet Core Crew membership, and I sewed at least 50% of the patterns that came out. If I was to consider it's worth it, I would say if you are looking to sort of branch out and try new things, yes, because it comes with really clear instructions, really clear information each month. It's quite exciting on the first day of the month seeing what the pattern is as well. So if you're looking to like have a little refresh, I found it worked for that. I didn't love all the patterns, but that's okay. But it did encourage me to sew things that I wouldn't have sewn otherwise. And if you get a certain membership, you can get the whole back catalogue. And I did read recently they are going to discontinue soon the colour year, which includes the sepia pants. So if you were looking at that, the membership means if you get a certain one, you can go back through the whole back catalogue. So I've made sure I've downloaded everything, because there is the quilted jacket, the parchment jacket, there's some nice dresses, there's the marigold jumper, which I like as well. So by the way, I'm not being paid for this is just a personal opinion, but that is something that I found very sort of refreshing for my 2023. I really hope you have enjoyed me sharing with you my top patterns and fails of 2024. Can't wait to hear what yours are, and I will see you again soon.